Hi, I'm Stuart from Stuart's Gardens in Simonstown, which is just outside of Cape Town. It's the end of winter and spring is days away. Emmanuel and I have been doing quite a lot of work getting ready for spring. We have refreshed the soil in this raised bed. We've made sure that the irrigation system is working. I've purchased a few plants and we're almost ready to go. It is the third week in spring. Unfortunately, I only planted my seeds about 2 weeks ago, so I'm very much behind in this growing season. Yesterday I was driving past a nursery and I popped in and I found that there were a lot of plants that were at a seedling stage, and I decided to buy them so that I could get a bit of a kickstart. I brought them home yesterday and I planted them. And these are the plants. This is bed A. I have basil at that side, fancy lettuce and cos lettuce, and then a row of Swiss chives. That row at the back I've left for the cucumbers and possibly some tomatoes that I haven't been able to purchase as seedlings. Over here is bed B. I have various tomatoes that I was able to purchase as seedlings: Roma, yellow pear, Floridade and moneymaker. In the front I have Swiss chard, dill, a bit more Swiss chard, thyme, parsley and the golden globe beetroot. There I have pot joy. This over here is bed C. You can see it's mainly taken up by eggplants, although over here I have beetroot. This is very interesting. I put these kale plants in yesterday and already they've been eaten by bugs.
I'll cover them with horticultural mess to protect them from further invasion. This is bed D. I planted a variety of chili and bell pepper seedlings. In the back row is the Californian wonder plant,
sweet red peppers and sweet yellow peppers. In the front I had various chilies, Tabasco, Serenaro and jalapeno.
Here we are at the start of spring. I have carried out 2 critical tasks that will assist nature in producing succulent, tasty vegetables throughout the season. The first task is to supplement the soil in my 8-year-old raised bed. This is how I did it.
It's late winter and spring is just around the corner. If you haven't already got your raised bed soil ready for the new season, now is the time to do it. But you'd better hurry because the clock is ticking.
Top up with organic matter like compost or manure at least once a year. Nutrient-rich materials such as this garden-made compost is the lifeblood of a thriving garden. Think of it as feeding the soil rather than feeding the plants. Soil life love this gorgeous stuff, and a thriving soil, of course, produces healthy plants. The soil in nature is rarely left uncovered. There's a constant cascade of organic matter which lands on the soil, feeding the soil life such as microbes, viruses and bacteria, to make the soil such a wonderful life-producing and life-giving place. These guys then unleash all the major and micronutrients, making it available for the searching root hairs so they can tap into it and suck up the nutrients. So you can see why the gardener's role in feeding garden soil is so important. Garden soil is actually very rich, so you need only spread an inch or 2 over the surface once a year. There's no need to dig it in because the worms will do that for you. The second task was to ensure that the watering system was functioning correctly. I used an automated watering system which makes maintaining regular watering easier. Although a manual system can also work, it requires more effort to ensure consistent watering.
Well, the system is working beautifully. Looks like it's been well maintained over the winter period. I'll just switch this off. What do you think about that?
Well, everything is alright and we are ready for a new season, planting.
Okay. It's 4 weeks since I planted these seedlings and the growth has been phenomenal. From tiny seedlings you can see that the Swiss chard is now growing wonderfully. It's rich and luxuriant and we've had about 4 crops so far. These lettuces are getting ready for harvesting as well. The basil is starting to develop beautifully. Here are the tomatoes, and you can see the first little buds coming on these Roma tomatoes. I'm going to have to start pruning these back at the bottom, and then making sure that because they're Roma tomatoes, determinate that I leave as many branches as possible. The Floridane is also coming on beautifully. The herbs are continuing to do very well, and the Golden Globe beetroot is looking cool. I put this cage with horticultural mesh over it, over the kale which had been badly eaten. And let's have a look to see. As you can see, it's starting to regenerate itself. Over here we have our eggplants, which are really looking wonderful. And what do I see over there? That's a snail, and I'll need to pick him out and get rid of him. If you take the snails out in the early part of the season as they hatch, and do that religiously every day, you'll find that you don't have a bad snail infestation. Well, that's at least my experience. And here's all the other beetroot growing. This is the cage of the chili peppers and the bell peppers. Well, let's have a look and see what's happened here. These bell peppers at the back were being eaten by something quite badly. Since I've been putting that on, although they have the aftermath of the previous attacks, and as you can see, they're doing very nicely here. We even have a few buds starting to form, and the chili peppers are doing very nicely. They're starting to get little flowers already, as you can see. So soon we can expect to have a couple of chilies. Jalapeno looks like it's coming on quite nicely. The Tabasco chilies are also looking very good.
Bed A has grown spectacularly over the last 5 to 6 weeks, transforming from tiny seedlings planted 7-8 weeks ago. However, the growth has been even more remarkable during the last week. The lettuce and basil are now ready for harvest. The Swiss chard grows longer and larger while remaining succulent and delicious. The growth of bed B has also been spectacular over the last week, particularly along the back row, which features various plants that I bought at a local nursery. The most notable among them at this stage is the yellow pear tomato, rapidly producing buds and flowers. The yellow pear tomatoes are generally sweet and have a pear-like shape. This variety is an indeterminate heirloom tomato, which grows and produces flowers and fruit until it's killed by frost or some other external factor. This contrasts with determinate varieties, which stop growing once a genetically predetermined structure is fully formed. The moneymaker is another indeterminate tomato variety that excels as a salad tomato. It has all the desirable traits: red, round, delicious, easy to grow, and highly productive. The tomatoes can grow up to 9 centimeters in size, and the plants can reach heights of up to 5 feet. The Roma tomato is a plum tomato, commonly used for canning and making tomato paste due to its firm and slender characteristics. The Floridane tomato variety thrives at extremely high temperatures. It has an appealing shape and vibrant color and is excellent for making pasta sauces, pastes, and sautéing. For fun, I purchased a pallet of Heinz tomato seedlings produced in Californian ranches that supply Heinz factories. During the season, these ranches can harvest 40 to 50 tons of tomatoes per hour, which are sent to factories for rapid processing, bottling, and distribution worldwide. Bed C continues to produce rapidly growing spring vegetables. The eggplants are growing taller and producing buds, and they'll soon be producing flowers. The kale has overcome the pests that plagued it earlier, aided by the horticultural mesh that protected it and allowed it to build up its natural defenses, and it's starting to grow well. The beetroot is growing luxuriantly. Bed D continues to produce rapidly growing spring plants. The bell peppers and chilies are growing taller and producing buds and flowers, and they're starting to make small chilies and bell peppers. Spring has sprung and applied its magic yet again on a small garden of tiny seedlings, turning them into flourishing, healthy, nutritious, and flavorful creations in just over 10 weeks. How lucky we humans are.